All right, to begin 5-1 and 5-2, please pause this video and start on the warm-ups right away. All right, for number 1, Ken signed up to receive internet service for $13 per month plus a $30 startup fee. He has budgeted $134 for the year for internet. Write and solve an equation to find the number of months he can receive internet service. So the information we know, $13 per month, $30 startup fee, he's budgeted $134. So we're gonna set our equation equal to $134. We know our $30 fee is the one-time fee. So we're gonna add our $30 onto his monthly cost. So we know it's $13 per month. That word per, multiplication. So we're gonna write that as 13M. $13 per month. It then says to solve the equation to find the number of months he can receive internet service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first walk through my steps. First thing I have to do is get rid of my constant. I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. I'm left with 104 equals 13M. Now we have 13 times M. The inverse operation of multiplication is division. I'm going to divide both sides by 13. I'm left with 8 equals M. The question asks, find the number of months. So, 8 months. All right, number 2. Janet's age is 3 years less than 3 times her cousin's age. The sum of their ages is 29. What is Janet's age? So again, we know the sum of their ages is 29. We know Janet's age is 3 years less than 3 times her cousin's age. The sum of their ages is 29. So we're going to set our equation equal to 29. And we know that Janet's age is 3 years less than 3 times minus 3. Okay, we have 3 times her cousin's age, and it's 3 years less than, and we're adding on Janet's age. Now we are going to solve for x. So we're going to combine our like terms. So I have 29 equals 4x minus 3. I'm then going to add, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I'm left with 32 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4. I'm left with x equals 32 divided by 4 is 8. What is Janet's age? 8 years old. Okay. Example 1. Find the height of the triangle with an area of 6 inches squared. First of all, the formula for area is area equals 1/2 base times height. So we know our area is 6 inches squared. I'm going to leave the label off there. We know it's going to be 1/2. Our base is 4, and our height is unknown. We are going to solve for h. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine my like terms. So 6 equals 1/2 of 4 is 2. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. I get 3 equals h. So the height of this triangle is 3 inches. Not squared, just 3 inches. It's just the measurement. Example number 2. We are going to find this unknown length. We know that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. We're given our perimeter is 36. Our length is unknown. And our width is 8. I'm going to solve this. I get 36 equals 2L plus 16. I'm then going to subtract 16 from both sides. I'm left with 20 equals 2L. And I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to get L by itself. I'm left with L equals 10. So the length is 10 feet. The next problem. The perimeter of a triangle is 76 meters. If one side measures 34 meters and the other is 18 meters, find the length of the third side. I want you to pause the video and try this one by yourself. Perimeter of a triangle is A plus B plus C, and those are just all the side lengths. So we're given the perimeter is 76, and we're given two side lengths, 34 and 18, and we are solving for C. Doesn't matter which variable you solve for. First thing we're going to do is combine those like terms on both sides. So 34 plus 18, take 34 plus 18, I get 52 plus C. I'm trying to get C by itself, so I'm going to subtract 52 from both sides. I'm left with C equals 24. I then have to add on my label. So the length of this third side is 24 meters. Real world example. Mrs. Winston has a small bag of grass seed that will seed 750 square feet. If the area she wants to reseed is 30 feet long, how wide can the area be? So I like to kind of draw myself a picture. It's a rectangle. We know one side is 30 feet. We know we're solving for the width, and we know the total area is 750 feet squared, or square feet. To find the area of a rectangle, you're going to take area equals length times width. We know our area is 750, our length is 30, and we're solving for our width. I'm then just going to solve this like a normal equation, trying to get the width by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 30. I'm left with W equals, how many times does 30 go into 750? It goes in 25 times. So we know our width is 25 feet. Just a reminder, algebra 000, order of operations. First thing we do is add up. Then we look if we can distribute. Then we combine like terms. And then we get the variables on one side. Then we solve and we get rid of that constant and then the coefficient. So this would be a good thing to write down in your notes again. It's always good to write that down to remind yourself. All right, when solving equations with variables on both sides, this is different than what we did last chapter. Get the terms on the same side of the equal sign. To do this, use inverse operations. So our goal is to get all of the n's on one side so that we can solve for n. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to use it like a balance beam again. So I'm going to subtract 7n from both sides. I'm left with a negative 5 equals 3n plus 13. I'm trying to get n by itself, so I'm going to add a negative 13 to both sides. And I'm left with 3n equals negative 18. Then to get n by itself, since it's multiplication, I'm going to divide each side by 3. I'm left with negative 6 equals n. All right, a couple of examples here. 8y plus 4 equals 11y minus 7. I'm going to try to get all of my y's together on one side. So I'm going to subtract 8y from both sides. And I'm left with 4 equals 3y minus 7. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to add 7 to both sides. And I'm left with 3y equals 11. To get y by itself, I'm then going to divide both sides by 3. And I'm left with 11/3 equals y. I'm going to change that into a mixed number, and I get 3 2/3. I want you to try this next problem. Pause the video and try it on your paper. For this problem, again, we want to get those m's on one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract m from both sides. I'm left with -1 equals 8m, because what we're doing is we're taking 9m minus 1m. So we'll get 8m plus 15. Trying to get that m by itself, so I'm going to add a -15 to both sides. And I get 8m equals -16. I'm then going to divide both sides by 8, and I get m equals -2. And I will circle my answer. All right, we will do a couple more. 6k minus 34 equals a -6k plus 14. I'm trying to get k's on one side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 6k to both sides. Because this 6k is negative, that's why I add. I do the inverse operation. So I'm left with -34 equals 14. Oops, 12k minus 34 equals 14. I'm then going to add 34 to both sides. And I get 12k equals 48. I am then going to divide both sides by 12. And I'm left with k equals 12 goes into 48 4 times. K equals 4. I want you to pause the video on this problem and try it on your own. All right, at a carnival, you spend $6 on food and buy 12 game and ride tickets. Your friend spends nothing on food and buys 20 game and ride tickets. You both spend the same amount of money. All of the game and ride tickets cost the same amount. How much does each ticket cost? So we spent $6 on food and got 12 game and ride tickets. Our friend spent nothing on food and bought 20 game and ride tickets. We both spent the same amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my total on one side and my friend's on the other, and I'm going to solve. So I spent $6 on food and 12 game and ride tickets. I'm writing that as 12x because we don't know the price of each game and ride ticket. My friend spent nothing on food but bought 20 game and ride tickets. So I'm going to write that as 20x. Then we're going to solve for x to find out how much each ticket costs. I'm going to draw my line down. I'm going to then subtract 12x from both sides because I want all my x's on one side. I'm left with 6 equals 8x. I am then going to take this equation and divide each side by 8. Since I had 8 times x, the inverse operation is division. I'm left with 6/8 equals x. What I want you to do now is I want you to